If you don't want to end up like most people, broke, burned out, and stuck in a cycle that never changes, then you need to focus on one thing: making your first $10,000. When I was 19, I had no money, no degrees, and no experience. But I did have drive and a goal. I wasn't thinking about millions yet. I was thinking about something I could actually hit: 10K. Now that I've built multiple income streams and real businesses, I can say this without hesitation. That first 10,000 was the hardest. But once I made it, everything changed. It wasn't about the number, it was about the mindset shift. It proved to me that making money is a skill, not luck. Once I learned how to do it once, I knew I could repeat it, then scale it into something bigger. So if I had to start from zero today and hit my first $10,000 all over again, this is exactly how I do it in 3 steps. Most people make this way harder than it needs to be. They jump into crypto because their cousin doubled his money, or they tried day trading after watching a flashy YouTube ad. Here's the truth. Both of those require a lot of upfront cash and unrealistic timing. They're multipliers, not starters. If you're starting from scratch, what you need is something that takes very little money to start, puts money in your pocket consistently, builds real-world skills you can use long-term. When you cut through all the noise, you're really left with 4 clear options, and I've tested all of them. Some of them earn money fast. Others take more time. Some give you unlimited upside. Others cap out pretty quickly. This brings us to option 1. Focused offering in-person services. Think of things like house painting, moving help, lawn care, detailing, tutoring, photography. The basic but in-demand services people actually need. This is one of the fastest ways to make money because you're getting paid directly, on the spot. It's cheap to start. You just need a skill, some basic tools, and the willingness to do the work. But here's the key. Don't waste time on a logo, website, or business cards. Just get clients and get to work. When I was 19, I offered to paint houses in my area. I'd walk neighborhoods, look for older paint jobs, and knock on doors. I'd say, "Hey, I'm not a big company, but I do clean, affordable paint jobs. I can send you a quote today." People responded well. It was immediate income, and it taught me how to sell, how to price, and how to finish jobs on time. But here's the catch. Local service businesses have limits. You're tied to your area. You can only serve one person at a time. Some months were stacked. Others were dead. Great place to start, but eventually you'll want more scale. This brings us to option 2, selling local products. This could be baked goods, handmade crafts, personalized signs, candles, or even seasonal stuff like Christmas decorations or football merch. The upside? People love to buy local, but unlike services, it's not instant cash. Back when I was painting houses, I reinvested some profit into a small batch of yard signs for local businesses. I designed them, printed them cheaply, and sold them door to door to landscapers and contractors. It worked. Sort of. The problem was, it took a lot of time to make, deliver, and sell. Margins were thin, and the customer pool was small. If you're doing something you love, like making custom furniture or art, this could work. But if you're after fast, scalable cash, this isn't your best bet. This brings us to option 3, selling global products. This means products you can sell online to anyone, anywhere. That includes things like digital downloads, branded apparel, print-on-demand items, or even reselling tools to other small businesses. This is where things start to open up, because the internet doesn't care where you live. You've got access to the entire world. I was pumped when I launched my first digital product, a simple toolkit for painting business owners. It didn't blow up instantly, but I made my first few sales and knew I was onto something. That money didn't go into my pocket, though. I had to keep investing back into ads, updates, and new offers. Sell 10 units? You need 20 more. Digital or physical, the cycle is the same. Reinvest or fall behind. That said, once the system is working, it can become one of the most hands-off, scalable ways to earn. But you've got to be patient. It takes 1 to 3 months minimum before things really start moving. This brings us to option 4, selling online services. And honestly, if I had to start from zero today, this is the option I'd pick. This wasn't as accessible when I first started, but today, the opportunity is massive. You can offer skills like copywriting, video editing, ad creation, thumbnail design, business automation, website setup, social media management. The best part? You get the reach of a global product with the profit margins of a service. With products, you might make 20 to 30% and have to reinvest constantly. With services, you keep 70 to 80% of what you make, and you can start earning from day one. If I wanted to make $10,000 fast right now, this is the path I'd take. So how do you figure out what to offer? Start by asking yourself 3 questions. What do you do well naturally? What could you talk about or study for hours without getting bored? And what problems do small businesses run into all the time? The sweet spot is where those 3 answers overlap. Most people get stuck here. They spend weeks, sometimes months, trying to perfect a skill before offering it to anyone. That's backwards. You don't need to be an expert. You need to start getting real experience as fast as possible. Start under market rate, deliver results, learn as you earn, and improve with every client. This brings us to something I call the income triangle, a simple 4-level system that takes your skills and turns them into real, repeatable income. If you're missing even one level, you'll always feel stuck, grinding, without breaking through. But when you build all 4, you create momentum that compounds. The first level is positioning, where your skill sits in the marketplace. Here's the reality. Not all services are valuable, but the ones that help businesses grow, those are the ones that get paid. If a business is already pulling in $50,000 a month, paying you $2,000 to boost growth, fix a problem, or create more efficiency, that's just smart. Businesses aren't thinking about cost the way individuals do. They care about outcomes. They want more leads, better systems, higher conversions. That's why your positioning matters. And some industries, they simply have more money to spend, and they spend it fast if you solve real problems. Here's how to shift your positioning. Don't just edit videos. Edit for creators with a product or business behind their brand. Don't just design thumbnails. Work with channels where every click counts. Don't just write content. Write for landing pages and funnels that drive real results. You don't need 10 more skills. You need to reposition what you already know and aim it where the money is being made. This next level is all about leverage, using your skill in a way that multiplies your income without multiplying your time. The big mistake most people make? They charge for effort, not outcome. Let's say you run Facebook ads. If you charge by the hour, the client's always trying to keep your hours low. But if you charge based on the revenue you bring in, now they're focused on results, not your time. It's the same with social media management. If all you do is schedule posts and reply to comments, you're just another task on their to-do list. But if you can show that your strategy brings engagement, traffic, and leads, you become an investment, not an expense. Here's the shift. Stop talking about what you do. Start talking about what they get. That's leverage. And once you make that move, your income starts growing faster than your workload. This level is about reach, getting in front of the right people so you don't have to chase clients forever. Most beginners are stuck in outreach mode. DMs, cold emails, begging for work. But if you play this right, clients start coming to you. Not long ago, I needed help redesigning my online storefront. So I did what most people do. I searched on TikTok and Instagram. One designer's work kept showing up. He wasn't running ads. He wasn't promoting anything. He was just posting his designs for fun. So I reached out. He wasn't even offering the service yet, but his DMs were already full. Why? Because his work was visible. That's the lesson. Whatever your skill is, start showing it off. If you edit videos, show the before and after. If you design thumbnails, post the ones with the highest click-through rates. If you're learning growth strategy, document the journey. You never know who's watching. And when the right people see your work, you don't have to sell. They'll come to you. This last level is what separates short-term hustlers from long-term earners. Automation. I've worked with a ton of freelancers, copywriters, editors, designers, marketers, and honestly, most don't last. Why? They're disorganized. They miss deadlines. They forget client details. They treat it like a hobby, not a business. The ones I keep paying aren't always the most talented. They're the most reliable. They show up. They communicate clearly. They make working with them easy. And that doesn't happen by memory or sticky notes. It happens with systems. If you're serious about making money online, you need a way to track everything. That's why I recommend using a CRM. It lets you keep track of every lead, organize calls and deadlines, store notes, files, and convos in one place, and never forget to follow up. When a client sees that you're on top of it, they trust you with more work. And more importantly, they refer you to others. Talent gets you in the door, but systems keep you in the game. I don't care how much money you're making right now. If you're blowing it all on clothes, cars, or weekends out, you're not building wealth. You're just playing rich. Until you've got at least 7 figures in your bank, you shouldn't be wasting it. The goal isn't to impress people. The goal is to use your income to create more income. That's how the wealthy think. They don't just earn, they multiply. So here's how I personally invest my money, starting with the safest option and working up to the highest risk. First up is my high-interest savings account. Yeah, I know, high interest at 3% is kind of a joke. But this isn't about getting rich. It's about having options. See, when you don't have any cash saved and something unexpected happens, you're forced to pull money from your investments, usually at the worst possible time. That's how people end up losing big. They sell low because they have no buffer. So no, savings isn't exciting, but it's your foundation. It gives you breathing room. Next up, index funds. If you've never heard of these before, think of them like a bundle of the top companies in the world. Instead of picking individual stocks, you invest in one fund and you get a little piece of hundreds of companies. The S&P 500 is a popular one. It includes 500 of the biggest businesses in the US. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned over 10% a year. So if you just invest $5 a day instead of spending it on coffee, you could retire with over $1 million. I've been doing this for years. It's not flashy, but it builds real wealth. Now after that, I move into individual stocks. This is where things get a bit more hands-on. I started small, picking companies I actually used or believed in. It helped me understand how markets work, how to read financials, and how to stay calm when things go up and down. There's more risk here for sure, but if you're starting with a small amount and want to learn, it's a great way to build investing experience. And that brings us to crypto. When Bitcoin first came out in 2009, I, like a lot of people, thought it sounded like a scam. No regulation, no real backing, no clear use case. It just seemed like internet money that could disappear overnight. But over the years, as things evolved, I paid attention. By 2019, I decided to slowly start buying in. Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not hype coins, not meme tokens, just the foundations. And looking back, it was a solid move. I built my position gradually, dollar-cost averaging, treating it like a long-term play, not a get-rich-quick scheme. Of course, crypto is extremely volatile. Some people double their money in a week, others lose everything just as fast. That's why I'm careful. I stick to what I understand, and I only put in what I'm okay losing. This part of my portfolio is higher risk, but for me, it's worth having exposure. So, If you're still here, I hope this gave you some clarity on where to start, how to build that first $10,000, and, most importantly, how to start thinking like a builder, not a spender. I hope you got something valuable out of this. If you're serious about building wealth, starting a business, or just getting out of the cycle most people are stuck in, you're in the right place. So, if you want more content like this, more straight-up breakdowns with no fluff, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow, and it tells me you want more videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.